and officially good evening, everyone. Welcome out to the Options Income Launchpad Trading Foundation's Open Forum. Now, Glenn said that there was good conversations, some random things, some bull puts. Bull puts are definitely a more sophisticated strategy. Keep in mind that the first session, the 7:30 p.m. Eastern session on Tuesdays and Thursdays, is theoretically dedicated to beginners. So if you have like hey, I don't feel like I'm leveraging the community as much as I could. I don't feel like I'm getting onto this train as smoothly as I could. That is a perfect opportunity to just flag Glenn and bring it up. Now, this is an open forum, which means it's oriented to allow us to go into detailed, more sophisticated, more complex concepts. But it's open forum, meaning it's dedicated to beginners in the first session, and this one is open to any question. So if you are a beginner, you should be coming to this. And I'm not necessarily talking to those of you who hear, but those of you listening to the recordings. I realized at times we get into some complacency where we might have a certain group of people who have been coming together for a little while, and it almost feels like we're oriented to that group, but we're not. They're not. This is always about, hey, what can we do to bring somebody new into that group and make them feel comfortable, ready to ask questions? Are they utilizing the resources? The people who are more seasoned veterans, they're here to help. They're willing to help. And so this is a call out. Glenn and I are going to do a more concerted effort to pause and say, hey, any beginners? Does this make sense? Any questions? And really try to encourage that a little bit more, because we don't want someone coming on feeling like, oh, this is too advanced for me, because a lot of you have been in that place and would say, oh, I maybe felt like that a little bit too, but now I'm right where I want to be. And those people are willing to help you if you feel like you're in that place. And so we want to do what we can. Steven said, I try to pick up on the comments and post helpful. Oh, I think you post extremely helpful information. Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that in mind, with the willingness to ask questions and participate in this thing. Welcome to the Open Forum. My name is Scott. I will be your host. As always, keep in mind that this subscription service is for education and illustrative purposes only. The information we review is not intended to be a recommendation to buy or sell any security or financial product. We're not brokers or advisors. Therefore, we do not give anything that should be considered or constituted as personal investment advice. Any decisions made at any given time should be done so at your own risk, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Let's go to the platform. Let's talk about it. I know you guys have talked about it a little bit already. We said there's a good chance that there are some things that are lining up, potentially turning into trade situations. Let's start with the market. And you can see the market was an interesting day today. We did have, so yesterday we had 84 million shares trade. No. We had 90 million shares trade. We had 84 million average. So let's just get a couple of things in place relative to our market posture. 90,810,952 divided by 84,172,283, 107.8%, 107.8. So that gets a box, a gray box. This one, we had average of 85 million. And here it is 122 million. That also gets a box. So we're going to duplicate the rectangle and move one here. And we're going to duplicate and move one here. And who do we give them to? First one, let's talk about it. It was above average volume. Buyers, sellers, or tie? Stephen quickly said tie. Yeah, I agree. The close here on Friday, 679.17. The close here, the close here, 681.76, 680.73. A $1 difference, essentially. $1 based off of 678. That is a 0.14%. 0.14. What does it have to be? 0.5. So what did we have here? A tie. A tie. We were dropped 0.14%. We got a tie. Today we got a huge amount of volume. 122. Divided by 85, 751,009. That was 140. No, what was that? 122,030,631. Divided by 85, 751,009. What am I doing wrong here? That can't be 14. Yeah, all right. I'll subtract it. 122,030. I feel like I should be able to do that, but maybe I'm wrong. Divided by, minus 85, 751,009. Divided back into the average 751,009. 42%. Yeah, there's something I think I was adding a number. 142% volume. Big volume today. Who won? Nobody. Another tie. We only dropped 0.27%. Now, at one point it was way down here and it looked like it was going to. Just after lunch in the afternoon, and then boom, we got this big breakout. Pulled back a little bit, but overall still got it. So let's go back in. And this is, we're going to duplicate this and duplicate this. So we're getting good volume, but what does the volume indicate? Ties. Ties. Equilibrium. At the very least, what is it not? It's not giving any follow through to the buyers or to the sellers. And in fact, we're still barely 2% off the highs. It's a very small consolidation. Which means what? Which means that if I'm bullish, and I am, market posture, is it strongly bullish? No. But is it bullish? Yes. Okay, now what does that mean? When I'm bullish, find a bull market, buy the dip. What do we have going on right now? A dip. Now, did we have a strong run up in 4 days and then have it just meander for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, we had a 5-day pop, then a 9-day meander. And now a consolidation. What are we looking for here? A bounce. A bounce. Maybe we have another pause tomorrow and then it starts to bounce out of that. Who knows? But right now, this is setting up. You can see it's moving into oversold territory. And that's a good point. Stephen D said it's this meander over here, this 9-day period, is probably equated to what? Waiting for the Fed. Oops, that should be an E. I know how to spell Fed. Waiting for the Fed. Okay, let's look at today's VIX. And you can see we've popped. Would we call this a higher high? No. I would say no. We've come down. We've moved up. It's not a lower high. It's not a lower low. It's just sort of there. Yeah, so I would say, do we look at this and think, are the institutions showing a bunch of fear? No. No. At least not yet. Okay. Apple. Now here's the deal. Took a trade on Apple, tried to let it go. I think a good amount of people would have shut it down. There might be some still riding it. And I'll tell you right now that I would still actually be thinking, you know what, a trade could be developing out here. Waiting out here. Okay. I had a good trade there. Then gave some back. Made more on the one I took than what I lost on the one afterwards. Overall, still definitely net positive on Apple. I'm looking for the next trade. AMKR. There was a big sell-off here, but there's a lot of profit for sell-off. If we were to use the technical principle that old resistance becomes new support, you can see that even gives room for this to keep coming up. Then we have this, and we have an ability to possibly see a bounce trade setting up here. If what? If the volume slows down. Amazon. No. APH, mostly sideways. Not really anything here for us. It's broken the 50. ASX, you can see it had a pretty rigorous pullback. Then it bounced to a new high. And now we have another consolidation happening. we'll do the same thing we did back here. We'll wait until we get confirmation, and then we'll look to go. It could be a full pullback. It could be a mini pullback. I'm definitely looking for something on here. Maybe some fear because we're not seeing the Santa push like we want. Yeah, I agree. Oh, can you guys hear me now? Okay. Okay, let's take a look at AXP. I'd say AXP is looking good. Okay. Glenn, good to see you. BAC is definitely on my list. Definitely on my. Okay, BAC looks good pulling back. BK looks good pulling back. We're seeing this across the board in financials. Little bit of a sell off here. You can see heavy volume on BK, and it did close really at the lows, so that's a tough one. Citigroup, another one that's just hit new highs, is starting to show these the signs of consolidation here. Caterpillar, oh, I think Caterpillar looks great. So we've seen a little bit in tech. We definitely have it in financials. And now we're seeing a little bit here in industrials. Okay. Yeah, Caterpillar was top of my list. Give me a sense. Now let me ask, which one of these are you guys? I feel like I'm just kind of rattling through these. Which ones of these are on your list of ones that you're thinking about? Confirm for me which ones you like or don't like. Definitely Caterpillar for me. Ciena, clearly another strong one for me. Just had earnings. Earnings came out strong. Expecting 52, got 91, so they smashed it. Now, sometimes we see companies smash it and then drop. This one smashed it and held. So there you go. Now we're seeing a pullback. I would say anything through here looking good. So industrials, I think definitely some strength. At the end of the day, we're bullish. We have a strong bullish watch list, and we're seeing a number of stocks pulling back, setting up, showing us bullish signals. CLS, mostly sideways. Coherent looks quite strong. Quite strong. What does Coherent do? IT, information technology. I was kind of curious about that. Materials, optoelectronic components and devices, laser system. Okay. Semiconductor devices for data center communications applications. They also do a little bit of materials, engineered materials, laser optics, thermoelectric components, advanced ceramic, and metal matrix composite materials. Okay. Well, there you go. Quite strong. Very strong. Now, last time we had a big move up like this, pulled back, held up, started to turn. Yeah, I think we're looking for the same kind of a thing here. We're looking for it. We want it. Coherent, IT. IT is technology. Adjacent, if not in there. So there you go. Credo. Little bit too much pullback. I think this is now more a consolidation. Now, I said the same thing back here. And it started to go, and then it went, and then it got earnings. And it never really gave us a trade. And now it's pulled all the way back down into a new consolidation. I'm not looking for the bounce here. There may be some people who are. I'm not looking for that to bounce. In fact, if it turns and does this, I'm going to just kind of watch it because I want to see it pop up, pull back, give me a higher low, then I have something to work with. Cisco on my list. On my list. Delta. Watching Cisco. Yeah, we just had a good trade on Cisco. We just made money on Cisco. What do we want to do? Make money again. Make money again. Delta. Overextended. Diamonds. You can see the diamonds going into pullback mode like other things in the market. Fox. Yeah, I think that in communication services, we just had a smashing trade on WBD. We passed on this trade for the WBD trade. And now this one, I mean, they both worked. This one didn't have a buyout. It still looks good. We're seeing a strong move up to a higher high. Now we're seeing a marginal pullback on decreasing volume. This is definitely in what we're trying to do. So I like this one. And I want you to notice, we've now looked and we've seen some in technology, some in financials, some in industrials. Now here we're seeing communication services. That's 4 out of 5 sectors that we would consider growth sectors, sectors that will contribute to our sector rotation score increasing. So now I'm going to pause for a second. If you're new, whether you're new here or new listening to this video at home, what are we doing here? Well, we forecast the market from week to week to help us orient around what kinds of trades we should take, where are we going to find them, how long should they last, how many should we have, how aggressive should we be, how close do we set time, right? All of those elements, how tight our stops, how aggressive our targets, can be assisted through market posture so that we don't have to, on every single trade, be like, well, what about this? And now we have to do the same thing again. We try to have a broader perspective to help with that. Then from that, we work to build and curate a watch list. That watch list is full of high liquidity sector and industry group leaders. So we go into the group and we build the watch list, and we try to make sure we have a broad range of representation from the various industry groups within a sector. Then what? Then we watch for entries. Now, I mean, it could be a breakout entry. It could be a continuation entry. It could be a bounce trade entry. I believe that most systems are a variation of one of those. You either think it's breaking out, continuing, or reversing. Now, when we say reversing, if it's a bounce trade, it was slowly heading down, but the broader direction is up, which is basically a buy the dip mentality. Buy the dip. So what are we looking for? Dips. Craig said it beautifully. Market posture is critical to managing risk. Agreed. Critical. It manages risk from a portfolio level. It helps us manage risk on a trade by trade level. 100% critical. Paramount. So now we're saying, hey, look, whatever else we're seeing, we're still bullish. Our score increased. And now we're saying, well, do we have opportunities? Yes. We look at our watch lists and we say, yes, we have opportunities to buy the dip. And now we're looking for them. So that's what we're doing here. Now, how do we know it's done dipping? How do we know it's done dipping? Well, when this comes down and then it turns and we see these things cross, those are easy ways for us to say now. And then we put in a stop and we put in a target and we say, there's our trade. And we do it over and over. That's how all of our alerts are found. All of them are found that way. That's how trades that you find that we do when we don't take alerts are found over and over, looking to do the same thing, shampoo, rinse, repeat. So hopefully that's helpful to just kind of give a broad, quick sense. It took a few months at first. It took me more than a few months, unfortunately. A few years. First Solar. Interesting one because it bounced. In fact, I actually was like, oh man, did I miss that? And the next day I'm like, I think I did. And then it dropped and now it's starting to like almost be like, well, is this a reset? I'm a little nervous by that. I'm a little bit like, I don't know about that there. So I think I'm going to be a spectate on First Solar. But I think an argument could clearly be made for potentially looking at that as an opportunity. GE, yeah. It was in a consolidation and it did a breakout and it did it with some increased volume down here. Now what? Now we're watching the pullback. And if the pullback comes like this and turns, then we have a higher low and we think maybe this is the next one of these. Right? I mean, you can see it trended for 4 or 5 months. Well, if it starts here and gets 4 or 5 months, there could be a lot of opportunity for us in there. A lot of opportunity. Gold, no, little overextended. General Motors, no, overextended. Google. So we got a signal here, and it looked like it was going to try, and then it faltered, and then it looked like it was going to try, and then it's like, okay, I know a number of people shut it down. If you held, what is your thought? We don't have too much time. That's the problem. If a new trade comes, and you can see that at this point, we've been in this little consolidation for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 3 weeks, 15 trading days. That's 3 weeks. And how much has it dropped in that time? It's dropped from a high of 328 down to 306.50. 328 down to 326.50. Nope. 328 minus 306.50. 21 points. 328. 6.5%. A consolidation. Just a consolidation. Goldman, back to financials. What is it doing? Dipping. It's dipping. Buy the dip. Okay. GTX, mostly sideways. Howmet, no, nothing there. IBM, I don't know. IBM can make some crazy moves. You can see that it just kind of failed to do much in here, but it did make it okay. Now it's pulling back. It's not pulling back as hard. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Intel, I think, looks great. What do you guys think of Intel? Big, strong move up. New high of 44. Selling off a little bit, but it didn't break the 50. The volume was never above average. The stochastics is pinching. What am I waiting for? I'm just waiting for a little confirmation. Give me something above that. Bam. And then I'm ready to go. Thoughts on that one? Where are we at there? Technology. Steve said yes to him. Love it. Agreed. IWM, small caps are holding up. They bounced. They got up to new highs. Pullback is to some extent muted. I think this still looks fine. JCI, it never broke. Here was our support. It looked good, and then it tested, and then it recovered, and then it's actually at new highs there. I believe there's still a good number of people in this trade. J&J was looking quite good, and then bam, turned around. Lumentum looks very bullish. It looks like a pullback. Now look, it's a volatile stock. This stock has more than doubled in a month. Right? It's gone from 154 to 375 in barely over a month. Now we have a consolidation happening. It's pulled back. What are we looking for? Well, I mean, people thought it was overextended at 200. Again at 270. Again at 330. Again at 376. And what does it do? Keeps on going. Eli Lilly, overextended. LRCX. This is not a flag, but this is a pennant. Same thing. We have a consolidation. Macy's overextended, pulling back. MasterCard overextended. Meta. Now here we had someone take this trade. Love this. I don't think they're here today. They took it. We called it anticipatory. They anticipated. It still hasn't confirmed. The price has turned. Stochastics is pinching, but we don't have a full signal yet. But we don't always have to wait for full signal. I love that entry. Very nice entry. Morgan Stanley, like Goldman Sachs, very, very strong. Looks good. Microsoft. Micron. Reports earnings tomorrow, aftermarket. It could be interesting, right? Because we're watching Intel, and they look very similar, but one has earnings and one doesn't. And the one that has earnings could, theoretically, have an impact on the one that doesn't. Netflix. Nope. Nvidia. Nope. NXT. Nope. NXT puts if it breaks. Oh, God, yes. Yeah, there's a good... If this thing breaks down, you can see it's not bouncing. Craig says, what do you think if we break this kind of a basing pattern to the downside? Yeah. Yeah, I think there could be something there. Palantir. Today was not enough to convince me that it broke this. That does seem to be what's trying to develop, though. We'll keep an eye on that. QQQ looks like it's trying to hold up. The real, if you're still with it, you got to have a line in the sand. It just, was never much of a loss because we had a good start. We got in back here. This thing popped, and then it just sort of meandered. And there's just every time it looked like it was going to try to move, then it wouldn't, and there was really not much we could do with it. Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab looks close. We had a consolidation. It broke out. Now it's pulling back, and we're watching to see, does it give us something that we can latch onto? Roku, overextended. Ross Stores, overextended. RTX, overextended. Silver, maybe going into a pullback. SNDK. We did have a break followed by this. So I would say there's a little window in there for SNDK to hold on. SoFi, overextended. SPY, we already talked about. STX. STX looks pretty viable on this little pullback. So does Teradyne. Both of those look strong. I think Teradyne is showing a little bit more overall strength. So that is definitely one that I am looking for. TJX, a bit overextended. Tesla still moving. Taiwan Semiconductor setting up, possibly. Broke the consolidation, new high. Pullback. If it can stabilize and bounce, then there's something there. Here's our VIX again, showing quite a low number. Okay. WBD pulling back. We had a good amount of time to take profit at this level. Hopefully everybody was able to get out at that point, all above where our target was in the first place. WDC possibly setting up. Walmart, not quite yet. I gotta say, overall, I think things still look just fine. There's still plenty of potential good-looking stocks in our group ready to go. The employment news today wasn't phenomenal. Let's go take a peek at that. We were expecting 45. We got 64. Better than expected, but worse than we were. Kind of a jump. We went from a 4.4 to a 4.6 in the unemployment rate. That's about all. The next big thing we have is Friday. We'll have CPI from November. CPI has been lurking in the 3% area, so we'll see what that looks like. And then go from there real quickly. The Fed watch. I'm staying pretty steady at 3-1 against for now. So as much as the Fed has been somewhat accommodating, we're not seeing that now. So, okay, well, what do we got? I'll see you guys in 12 hours. Let's see if tomorrow's the day that the market decides to hold it together, give us a little turn. Maybe we get a couple of trades, show us bounce confirmation. We've got a good list ready to go. There's plenty of stuff there. If you're interested in trading, you'll have something once the signals come. Great to see everybody. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for your participation. As always, those of you watching at home, we miss you. We hope you can join more frequently. Those of you who are beginners, I hope you'll feel comfortable reaching out, telling us what we can do to help bring you into the fold, help utilize and leverage everything we have to offer. Thank you guys. As always, happy trading.